The ranch stretched across miles of empty desert, dust swirling around the lonely man who called it home. His name was Jacob Harlan, a widowed rancher with calloused hands and a heart grown heavy from years of solitude. The land was harsh, but he worked at every sunrise to feed his little girl, Clara. The nights, however, were the worst. The sound of the coyotes reminded him that there was no laughter, no softness left in his house. Clara missed her mother dearly, and Jacob knew he could no longer raise her in silence and sorrow. When Jacob rode into the nearest town one Saturday, he sought supplies, flour, salt, ammunition, maybe some company. But what he found in the market square stopped him cold. 3 Apache women, bound and guarded by armed traders, stood silently beneath the hot sun. Their faces bore defiance, not fear. The men around them laughed crudely, calling them wild ones. Jacob felt something stir deep inside him. Anger, pity, perhaps guilt. He'd fought men like them once, but now he saw women, humans, being sold like cattle. He asked the trader what they were for. "Work or wives," the man said with a sneer. "Depends on what a man needs." Jacob's jaw tightened. "I need a mother for my daughter," he said quietly. The crowd chuckled. But when he pulled a small pouch of gold from his saddlebag, the laughter stopped. The trader counted each coin, then nodded. "All 3 for this much." Jacob hesitated. 3? He only meant to buy 1. But when he looked at their faces, each sunburned, exhausted, but still proud, he couldn't choose one life over another. That evening, Jacob led the 3 Apache women back to his ranch. They rode silently, watching him warily. Clara, just 6 years old, peeked from the window as they arrived. "Pa, who are they?" she whispered. Jacob knelt beside her. "They're guests, sweetheart. Maybe family someday." Inside, the women sat by the fire without speaking. One, the oldest, tended to Clara when she coughed. The others helped gather wood and clean. None of them owed him obedience, but they worked quietly, as though testing his intentions. The following weeks brought uneasy peace. Jacob offered them food, clothing, and a roof. He asked nothing more. The youngest, Nita, began humming old songs while mending clothes. The second, Tala, proved strong, helping mend fences and wrangle horses. The eldest, Ayasha, became a mother figure to Clara, teaching her to braid her hair and sing in Apache tongue. Jacob watched, slowly realizing he had not just saved them. They were saving his home, breathing warmth back into its empty walls. One afternoon, a storm rolled across the plains. Lightning split the sky, thunder shook the barn. As Jacob secured the horses, the roof caved in, trapping him beneath a beam. The women heard the crash and ran through the rain. Together they lifted the wood, dragging him free. He coughed and gasped, drenched in mud, but alive. As he looked up at them through the rain, gratitude replaced pride. "You could have left me," he said. Ayasha shook her head softly. "We don't leave those who feed us." That night by the fire, Jacob spoke plainly. "I can't undo what's been done to you," he said. "But I can offer you a home not as property but as partners, as wives if you wish it." There was silence. Tala met his eyes first, fierce and unflinching. "We choose strength," she said. "You are not cruel. That is enough." One by one they agreed, not out of submission but survival and strange respect. It was not love then, but something sturdier, trust earned under the same roof. Months passed and the ranch began to flourish again. The fields turned green, the livestock fattened, and laughter returned. Clara adored her new mothers. Ayasha taught her patience, Nita sang her to sleep, and Tala taught her to ride. Jacob worked harder than ever, not to repay them but to be worthy of their loyalty. He thought he was rescuing them, yet it was they who gave him life again. Word spread through nearby settlements about the rancher who bought 3 Apache women not as slaves but as wives. Men mocked him, whispering in saloons. "A man's gone soft," they said. But Jacob no longer cared for talk. When rustlers came one night trying to steal his cattle, Tala and Ayasha stood beside him with rifles. Nita sounded the alarm, Clara hid safely. The gunfire echoed through the hills, but when the dust cleared, their home still stood. The women didn't flinch, they fought like warriors, protecting what was theirs. The next morning, Jacob buried the thieves beneath the mesquite trees, silent but proud of his family's courage. Winter came hard that year. The wind bit deep and snow covered the range. Yet the house glowed warm inside. Clara helped Ayasha cook stews, Nita sewed quilts, and Jacob played his harmonica by the fire. Tala leaned against the doorway, watching the man she once feared now trusted completely. He'd never raised his hand or voice at them. The bond between them wasn't born of passion alone. It was survival, respect, and the rare grace of understanding across two worlds. Years later, travelers passing through the valley often stopped by Harlan Ranch. They found peace there, a strange, beautiful kind of family. One white man, 3 proud Apache women, and a little girl who called all 4 of them Ma and Pa. They shared their bread with the hungry, mended strangers' wagons, and gave shelter to the lost. The ranch became known as the House of Many Hearts. People whispered tales of the cowboy who defied hatred and built a family where no one thought it possible. In time, Clara grew up strong, brave, and wise. She carried in her the kindness of her father and the fire of her Apache mothers. When Jacob grew old and weak, the women cared for him, just as he had once rescued them. As the sun set on his final day, Clara held his hand, surrounded by her mothers. He smiled faintly. "Looks like the Lord gave me more love than I ever deserved." When the wind swept across the desert that night, it sounded almost like laughter. Long after his passing, travelers still found the ranch, still heard the stories whispered by the locals. They said that on quiet nights, if you stood near the windmill, you could hear women singing in Apache tongue, and a faint harmonica joining in. It was said the land remembered them, every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness echoing in the desert wind. In the heart of the Wild West, where cruelty was law, Jacob Harlan's story proved one truth, that mercy is the strongest legacy a man can leave behind.